So I get a lot of feedback about the rhetorical analysis cereal box activity. A lot of people love using that as a first day of school lesson because it's kind of a weird, quirky icebreaker. And it actually gets kids doing the work of rhetorical analysis before they even know what it is. Kind of catches them off guard, and they kind of come into AP sometimes, especially if it's their first AP level class, with a lot of expectation. This class is going to be hard and inaccessible. But by bringing in something that they see every day, cereal or some other kind of food, it just makes it feel like, hey, I belong here and I can do this. And that's my mission in the English department, to make sure every kid that's in an AP Lang class feels like they belong and they can get something out of it. And by extension, you feel like you can help every kid that comes through your door. So let's talk about the cereal box analysis. I have the full lesson steps and the setup and everything, but the actual, like, how do you coach a kid to analyze the cereal box part? Let me show you how I do it. So I got 3 boxes to start with because they really represent the 3 appeals really well. But let's start with good old Lucky Charms here. All right, so if I'm coaching kids to see what they should notice in a box of Lucky Charms, I ask questions like, what's the first thing you see when you look at this? And they're going to say, well, the bright colors or the marshmallows or the mascot, right? Lucky. So we talk about, when we look at colors and, iconography and pictures, like, how does it make you feel? So they might say, like, oh, it kind of makes you feel hungry. Well, that's kind of a thing with the color red, right? It makes me feel nostalgic. Oh, I remember eating Lucky Charms when I was a kid. Or, like, oh, it makes me feel excited. Like, this is fun. Look, double marshmallows. That's all cool. So those are good, strong appeals to pathos. Emotional appeals, that sense of fun, nostalgia. So this would be kind of my pathos box of cereal. Then I have them look at not just the front of the box and the pictures, but look at the claims made, look at the actual cereal itself. Well, the part that everybody eats last, or maybe that's just me, I don't know. But that's the cereal itself is really small in comparison to the fun stuff, the marshmallows, the characters, the colors, the logo is huge. So they're kind of de-emphasizing the fact that the main part of their cereal kind of tastes like nothing, but it's fun, right? Because you have all these colors. We have things like limited edition that makes you feel like some FOMO, right? Oh, I won't be able to get this forever if I don't get it. Jumbo rainbows, how fun. Double box tops, like, you're a good citizen if you buy this. You can give box tops to your school. So not just the front of the box, but look at things on the back of the box. So that box top campaign there, I always ask kids about this extra stuff, like, who is this for? And this kind of thing might be an appeal to moms, parents buying cereal because they're like, well, I guess I can get the name brand that's like twice the price. It's good. It's for the kids. It's for the school. So that might be an appeal to them. The nutritional information, if you've got the time, have them do a little quick math here on how much is actually a serving of it. And, this is 1 cup. 1 cup is like the size of your fist. And if you talk about how much cereal you actually pour and how much sugar is in that cereal. And so those could be interesting conversations too. But overall, have them look all over the box and notice those visual elements, the relationship between them, and all of that. And then just by contrast, let me find the most boring box of cereal I have, which is the Kellogg's All Bran. Fiber One makes something really similar. We call this the rabbit food cereal in my classroom because it looks just like this. There are no berries in this box. It's just the rabbit food. It's actually pretty tasty, but it's just wheat, and we have high fiber. So when you talk about audience, you get to have really awkward conversations about elderly people and constipation and all of that. But they have a lot of fun with it. And on the back of this one has a banana bread recipe. So this is not the same audience as this box of cereal. And then if you have groups that can kind of make comparisons and present between, the differences, they can really kind of see like, okay, there are strategies here to target different audiences. So all of these companies have the same purpose, which is just to sell a box of cereal, but they have different audiences for their cereal, so they have to take different approaches. One last thing, if you can find it, this is my favorite. Oh, by the way, these are all health claims. That's the Logos cereal. This is my favorite Ethos box of cereal. The Quaker guy, who you may know from oatmeal, is on this box literally like something like 11 times, I think, if you count them all up. And then they have the established 1877. So they're just trying to get you to trust the brand that you know from oatmeal to buy this cereal. And this one, I think, is the one that actually has more sugar in it than the Lucky Charms. So that's an interesting discovery for the kids, because this looks like the picture of health, right? With the berries and, these like really cool colors. But yeah, so enjoy. I hope this is helpful. Let me know in a comment or send me an email what cereals you picked. I always throw some wild cards in there too. A Wheaties box with an athlete on it is always a good one. As well, seasonal, weird, one-off novelty cereals you can have good conversations with too. But good luck and happy snacking, because I always save a little extra for me at the end of this activity.